Hello, everybody! So, I was watching the TV show iCarly the other day, and I came to the realization that I need to bank in on the whole internet video business, so I'm gonna start my own web series. So, I attempted to create my own web series with a similar formula to that of iCarly. Only minus the feet stuff, because the creator of my show isn't a weird foot fetishist. And on top of that, no one on earth wants to see my feet. So I came to the realization that I'm not funny, like, at all, but I did come to the realization that I already have a web series called Dippy Egg, and you should subscribe to it right now so I can defeat the YouTube algorithm. But I should use this inspiration of iCarly for good, so I'm gonna take a look at iCarly on the Wii. iCarly was released on the Wii by Activision. And while unfortunately we do not have something ambitious like the literal stealth game that came out of Drake and Josh, we have a minigame collection. I mean, it is on the Wii after all. A word of advice, by the way, for those collecting the Wii. If the back of the box says it only uses a Wiimote and no nunchuck, there's a pretty high chance of it being shovelware. The game opens up with a sort of a montage, which is set to what I'm pretty sure is not the theme song of the actual TV show. It shows clips of the minigames to come, and oh boy, they sure look like minigames, alright. You then get greeted by the story, if you want to even call it that. It's just text-based banter between the characters, read by the voice actors at least. Carly has a bad dream or something, and Spencer gets stuck in a sculpture, I guess. It's on par with the plot style of the show, I guess, but I just don't care. The minigames, there just really isn't much to them. I mean, there's actually a pretty good amount of them. I was surprised by that, but they all kind of suffer from the fact that they're bad. They're all crummy motion control games, like this one where you decorate a Christmas tree with noses, or the one where you have to protect a pie from being stolen by Thing from the Addams Family and his boys. There's a bunch of others, but they're all very unmemorable. I mean, I guess they capture the spirit of the show well enough, but they just aren't really fun to play, and there's not much more to this game. Wait, that's it? Can't just do a video on that little bit of content. Thankfully, there's a second game. iCarly 2. Ah yes, iCarly 2. I joined the clique because, get it, clique? You know, clique, like, yeah, internet, funny, whatever. Also, this game uses the nunchuck, which means it's hopefully more than just motion control heavy minigame shovelware. The game starts you off with signing up for a social media site called In Your Face Pages, and hopefully they aren't gonna sell my data or refrain from showing me in the algorithm for not paying for sponsor posts. After selling your soul to In Your Face Pages, you appear in a bedroom, which is for some reason jungle themed. I kinda like it, honestly. You don't play as any actual characters from the show, but rather you play as a character named New Kid. Yeah, that's the protagonist's name, New Kid. After New Kid exits his home, the following scene is in the classroom where you meet your teacher, Miss Briggs, from the TV show. Most of the characters in this game talk like they're from a Banjo-Kazooie game. After class is done, he meets Carly and Sam, who are actually voiced by their voice actors. New Kid is so starstruck that he drops his book bag, and then they decide to let this total stranger help out with their hit web series. I hope to be that courteous one day. The goal of this game is basically to help iCarly become a more successful show. It's basically a game about clout chasing, isn't it lovely? Most characters you meet, I assume, are from the TV show, but they all kind of look like shit, so who knows. You meet another teacher downstairs from your classroom who apparently got rid of his toilet 2 years ago. I'm guessing he just craps in his yard or something. A lot of these characters ask you to do favors for them, and as you do, you get items, and your friendship scale with them increases. It's not unlike something along the lines of Harvest Moon. And while we're on the subject of simulation titles, this game bears a striking resemblance to Animal Crossing in a way. I mean, I'm okay with that because that's one of my favorite genres of games, but wow, this is quite the clone. You can decorate your room with items that you acquire from other characters, as well as the iCarly studio. The items never really land where you want them to go though, unfortunately, and it's kind of wonky. As I mentioned prior, the characters ask you to do favors, but the dialogue is just sort of laughably bad at points. Like at one point, this guy wanted me to teach him a dance to impress Sam, and I'm pretty sure I completely ruined his chances by teaching him the cheesiest dance possible. Another instance was when I taught this girl the worst possible cheerleading chair I've ever seen. New kid is ruining people's lives with his bad advice, and I'm here for it. So, when you help Carly and Sam clout chase, you have to go to Carly's apartment where the show is filmed, which is fair enough because that's where it's filmed in the show, but I think it's supposed to represent the editing work. I mean, editing videos is hard, y'all. I mean, it's represented by this weird minigame that's like derivative of Breakout and Puzzle Bobble, sort of. It's kind of wonky, but with that, you earn points in this minigame to scale how much of various activities are allotted in the video stream. It's kind of confusing. You proceed to watch the iCarly episode that you assisted in creating, and it's awful. It's usually just Sam and Carly doing goofy stunts in a skit where Carly sticks her face into a poop cake. I should also add that these videos only seem to happen once a week. I think it's on Saturday. Only I could be that consistent. The game still goes day by day in a time system that's similar to that of Harvest Moon, where every second is essentially a minute or so. Throughout the week, you have to make sure to be at school every day at a very specific time and then go to bed at your bedtime. Thankfully, the school day skips like 6 hours or so every day automatically. And between that, you just help people earn items and decorate your house. There's a lot of locations in town, such as an arcade which has very underwhelming games at it, a bunch of skate parks that you can't access, and basic stuff like a store or a pet shop, post office, and of course the groovy smoothie as seen in the TV show. And you get items pretty fast in this. Sometimes in addition to furniture you get clothing, and I got this outfit that makes me look like Greg Brady from the Brady Bunch. But seriously, aside from that, there's really not a lot to do in this game. I mean, you make friends, that's the gist of it. I mean, you can add them on social media, and then they make posts about how cool you are if you do them favors, because everyone in this town is apparently a user. There's also a side part where you have to help Spencer find an art space, which conveniently there's an artistic looking building a little bit south of Groovy Smoothie that's vacant, and it has a very neat statue that I would love to own in real life. Apparently the lease is super cheap too, which is quite impressive considering that the iCarly universe is based in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. Once you help Spencer out, you can get access to this big obnoxious metal detector, which can help you find even more items. Thankfully, you can sell the items and make a lot of money doing that, because honestly, even in a game week, I'm already overloaded on item stock. You can also earn money in this game for doing chores. Apparently, New Kid's parents are loaded because they pay him $10 to water a houseplant. New Kid is a hard-working individual, while Carly and Sam just stand in the living room staring blankly all day long. Honestly, this game does sort of have a charm to it, but it's kind of held back by the fact that it's slow-paced. I mean, having only one show a week and having a bunch of repetitive tasks to fill that void really kind of caused more fatigue than anything. I guess if you're a really big iCarly fan, this would probably be worth giving a look, but at the end of the day, it's just a big waiting game and occupying yourself with menial tasks that aren't particularly enjoyable to pursue, and listening to one-liners from the show.
Say bye-bye to your fudge.
I can't do this much longer, however. This game is oddly long, and I've sunk 4 hours into the game, and I've only done 2 episodes of iCarly. And I made a lot of money from selling endless meaningless items, which is cool. But let's move on to bigger and better things in the future. I have to hear Gibby's one-liners one more time, I swear to God.
My mom thinks I'm awesome.
So, these are the iCarly games. I mean, the first one's a piece of garbage. Let's just be real here. But the second one, well, it's a piece of garbage as well. But it's an ambitious piece of garbage, and I gotta give it props for that. I finally got another video done after tons of technical issues, and that's why it took a month to put this video out. But, back to more frequent load schedule. Anyways, I'm off to edit this video.